The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Health and Wellness channel. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericahealth.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. Are you trying to master the game of life without success? There are secrets and strategies to living your best life. We'll share some of them with you on today's show. Take advantage of this series to become an expert at relationships. All relationships. It's time to live the life that you deserve to live. Now, here's your host, Sandra Reich.
Welcome to Straight Talk. So nice to be back again. I hope you're all having a great week. Today, a show that is very dear to my heart and means a lot to me. I, as everybody knows, see clients, and twice a year, I go on a very, very special trip with couples. We call them the Sandra Reich Couple Retreats. And I have to say, people have even asked me, why are you so passionate about those? And I really am. I wanted so badly to do this, and we took 10 couples to Mexico in November last year. And I have to say it was probably one of the most satisfying things I've done in my career. So I guess I can start off by saying why it was so satisfying. So I get the honor of getting to work with couples all the time. And the session is 50 minutes long, and then they go away and they come back the next week. And the problem is that understanding and working through the dance of a relationship often takes longer than 50 minutes. And to really help a couple learn some of the latest cutting-edge scientific strategies requires the gift of time. The other thing is that the work for a couple is not only in the head, it's experiential. So I wanted to find a beautiful place where couples could learn what they need to do together and also have time to reconnect. So we set up a couple retreat, and our target audience was both couples that are struggling and couples that are doing very well, to see how this kind of thing would help their couple. And the results were pretty amazing. And as I said, it was the highlight of my year, without a doubt. And I'm very touched that I asked a few of those couples to come here to Straight Talk with Sandra Reich today. And they're sitting here with me, all silently waiting for their turn so nicely. And I believe one of them is not well and will be calling us on the phone. And they wanted to spread the word also to couples. Now, one of the reasons we want to spread the word to couples is, sadly, in our society, there's still a lot of stigma about the idea that in couples, sometimes we have difficulties, which is really too bad, because who of us who's in a couple doesn't have struggle? I'm sitting with my group here, and this we can collectively answer, doesn't everybody have a struggle? Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So everybody has a struggle, and that includes myself. And I'm very lucky, because the strategies that I teach people, when I learn them, obviously I bring them home to my own husband, or who knows where we would be. So I'm going to slowly introduce who's here with me today, and we'll talk about these things that we presented at the first retreat, what it was like for them. I can't imagine what it was like for them to just show up there, because they trusted me enough to come, but I don't think any of them really knew. The famous joke was, are we going to the movie Couple Retreat? I promised the men that they wouldn't have to talk in front of anyone, because the men were very worried about that, and I believe I kept my promise. I'm also sitting next to me is Robert Wise, the manager, and also he came on the retreat as the yoga instructor. I guess I see that Tracy is already on the phone, so we'll go to her in a moment. But maybe you can tell us, as the yoga instructor, as someone who started the day with our couples, we started the day with some yoga. What was this experience like for you?
So the experience was extremely satisfying in that I got to see the couples early in the morning, right before you were teaching, and really work with them on their mind and their body, and connecting that together, and doing some guided meditation and preparing them for the day. So it was really special. Also, I got to see them, because I got to see them before they went into the session with you. I got to see how incredibly different they ended the day, which was really satisfying.
Yeah, and I think like myself, we've talked many times since the retreat of what we saw happen there for the couples. I mean, we stayed a few extra days and we were just so amazed by this. And as a matter of fact, one of the couples that we were most amazed of is sitting right in front of me, and
Yes.
we can't wait to hear about them. I was absolutely amazed in the difference in them, and they're so nice to come. I see that Tracy is on the phone now, so I'm going to ask Sylvain if you can come over here. So we've got Tracy on the phone. Let's get her on here, and I've got her partner, Sylvain, here with me. Hi, Tracy. Tracy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Hi, Tracy. Thanks so much for calling in. I understand you're not feeling too well today.
Yeah, I have a cold that just will not go away.
Well, I'm glad you took the time to rest, and thank you so much for calling in. I'm sitting here with your partner, Sylvain, and I'm curious from both of you, you can talk, either of you or both of you, what you thought you were signing up for with the couple retreat and, what your experience was. I'm not going to direct you too much. I know you guys are both very articulate people, so I'll let you start, Tracy, and Sylvain's right here with you.
Well, Sandra, you and I have known each other now a number of years, and I have gone to your women's retreat. I've also been fortunate enough to have you as my personal therapist, and I know what you can do, and I know how far you've taken me personally. So when you started up with the couples retreat idea, I was so enthusiastic, and I knew that this would be a great step for Sylvain and I to get closer. And we all, every single person has their own issues, and then of course we bring that into our couple, and we're not always sure how it's manifesting in our couple. So, and Sylvain has also, and he's very open about the work he does personally on his own things. So we're very aware of our own stuff, but we were never sure, like, okay, now how is it manifesting with each other, and what do we do about it? So we were really excited to come to this retreat and dig into that and learn new ways of communicating and also not letting our own issues get in the way of what could be a really fulfilling, happy, loving relationship.
That's amazing. So, Sylvain, when Tracy came to you and said she wants to go to this couple retreat, what did you think? What was your first reaction?
Well, actually, I think I brought it. I was the one who brought it initially because I was actually jealous, being with Tracy, and then she was talking about all the women's retreat, and I was going like, okay, but what about us guys? Like we, yes, we have a tendency to think that we're strong and we're participating in a lot, but for sure we have some stuff to learn and understand. So, so knowing that she was going to these women's retreat, I kept on saying, well, what about us, right?
That's
so when basically I saw that there was something about the couples, I totally embarked right away on that project, and for the simple reason that I've went through. I had a marriage before, and I went to 2 long-term relationship, and Tracy. I want to make sure that Tracy and I we work. I want this to work. I want to make sure that this is my last relationship, basically. So to be able to do that, we all bring baggage. We all have stuff that we bring from our previous relationship and stuff like that. And sometimes I have the impression that muddies the water. So what was the best way to basically have the tools necessary to make sure that these past things basically don't come and muddy the water and build a healthy relationship. And I think, from my personal perspective, my former relationships weren't healthy, but that's what I want. And unfortunately they don't teach us that at school. There's no place where they teach us on what is supposed to be a healthy relationship and what are, how do we set our boundaries and how do we communicate and how do we make sure that, again, we don't bring past baggages and how do we move forward? So all of this made me very, not optimistic, but very eager to go on that, on that retreat. And the end result was so great. Actually, I took the opportunity during that retreat to propose to Tracy.
Aww.
And, she said yes. Yeah. But we've actually signed up for the next one. And this is something I truly believe in. And I can see basically since the retreat, not only the change in our relationship, but also that allowed me to understand more about myself too. And it has actually changed my relationship with my son, but also my coworkers on how, separating, all the emotional things that are going on and being able to separate what's mine, what's theirs and stuff like that. So it has had a tremendous effect on all areas of my life.
That's amazing. I mean, and that's another one of my passions is the idea that if we help couples, we help children, which is what I always say. Robert came on a few weeks ago to interview What Drives My Car, is that I'm always worried about children. And it's true. If we have a happy couples, it really affects the children. And the fact that you were able to translate that into your other relationships is very powerful. So you guys came to the retreat, and yes, it was a pretty huge moment. Huge moment that I didn't know if we can mention on the radio this time, but apparently we can. Great. That Sylvain proposed to you, Tracy. So you come to this retreat. You've been to, now here's a question I think people wonder. So Tracy, you were very open at admitting that you come to therapy. What's different than, people, I can't tell you how many people tell me, Sandra, I'll come see you. I'll come to therapy, but I'm not going to any retreat. Why don't you just teach it to me in therapy? Why do I have to go to a retreat? So that is the number one thing I hear. So I'm going to ask you, what's different about therapy and a retreat?
Yeah, wow. I mean, it really is very, very different. I think in a retreat, you have obviously a lot more time to delve into things. We also have the time to assimilate the information, process it, and then come back with questions. I also love, what I love about retreats is that it's like a group journey together. So there's, in our retreat in Mexico, I believe we had 10 couples there, and every couple is bringing their own issues, their own questions. And so Sylvain and I are bringing our own, but what other couples are bringing, we're learning from as well. So I wouldn't have thought to ask that, or I didn't know how that applies to, X or Y. So it just becomes it's almost like this growing organism, and together it just piles up. I just feel like I could learn so much in a weekend that, I actually, Sandra, if it was just you and I think there's a bunch of things that I would never actually get to. To what I get out of a retreat.
Yeah.
I think because of we also do all those great exercises.
Yeah. So let me clarify about the exercise. There's another thing that people worry so much about retreats is that they're going to be put on the spot and put in the middle of the room and have to air their dirty laundry. I'm going to go to the male on this because it tends to be the men who are very worried about this. I know you're very open, Sylvain, but did you feel you were ever put on the spot, or anyone there was put on the spot? Because it's obviously a little bit of a trick question, because I know that was not my mission. But it's important to me that people understand that you are not forced to share your personal stuff. Most of your work is with your partner. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that an accurate portrayal?
Totally.
Okay.
I didn't see, or I didn't feel anybody being pressured into doing or revealing or anything that they didn't want to share. Like Tracy was mentioning, sometimes just basically seeing the dynamic between two partners and another couple, it basically helped us also understand some stuff about us. So some people were more quiet. Some others, like Tracy and I, were very open. So we kind of dug in. It goes, I think, with both of Tracy and I's personality, which is, okay, we're investing time and we're investing, money into this retreat. So let's get the best, out of it, and let's, jump in and take as much as we can from this.
Great. And I think that you guys expressed so much, and you guys did come in with that sort of determination to get the most out of it. So that leads me to a question for you, Tracy. Another thing that people say to me all the time is, well, we only get one vacation a year. We don't want to spend it at a couple retreat. So I guess, and only you guys can answer this, because obviously as the teacher, it's a different experience for me. Was there a sense that I know the learning was intense, and we can't say it wasn't, because it was. There was certainly a lot of hours hours and a lot of experiential work, which is another thing that's different than therapy, is I can get you guys really practicing stuff. Not that we can't do it in therapy, but we need more time. Was there for you and Sylvain enough time to be able to go, I know there wasn't tons, but to have a little romantic time, walk on the beach? Is there a sense, or did you come home exhausted? I mean, honestly, it's an innocent question. There's no right answer. I don't know. I wasn't you.
No, we definitely were not exhausted. If anything, the work we did in the retreat brought us closer together, and then the time we had alone, we were able to build upon that. So I think we came home feeling really inspired, really invigorated, reconnected. There was so many sort of lingering issues between us that we were able to understand better after the retreat and get past. So I think it was a perfect combination of both. We had some time alone, but we also got so much out of the group activities.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned, Sandra, about, sometimes we get just, 1 week of vacation or stuff like that. And I'm thinking of this, and I know it's a stigma that guys have, that we're not really, or we're not as much into self-help and stuff like that. And I have a very good thing for guys that are listening is, like, if you don't know what to give your wife or your partner for Christmas or her birthday and stuff like that, just invest in that retreat and just go to her and say, you know what? I so believe in us. I want us to work. I want us to be the best us that we can be. I'm investing my time and my money for us to be healthy and to be happy and in us. And, that's going to get you off her birthday, her Christmas, stuff like that. So you're going to be good.
It's funny that you say that, though, because I was talking earlier today, I had a guest on talking about how women respond to things. And it is very true that a woman would say, what a guy I have. He wants to take me on a couple retreat to have the best relationship possible. You're definitely going to score points. So we're going to have to take a break very quickly. But when we come back, I want to talk with you, Sylvain, for another couple of minutes about how this affected your relationship with your child. Mm-hmm. And we've got James and Angie here, and we can't wait. They're standing by very patiently. Can't wait to hear what their experience was, because I think that like you said, every couple's experience was quite different. So, Tracy, if you don't mind, can you stay on the phone? We'd like to keep you on.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back with Straight Talk with Sandra Reich.
Your life, your health, your network. You're listening to Voice America Health and Wellness.
Spa Munari is a full-service wellness day spa located at the heart of West Island, Quebec. Submerge yourself in beauty with one of our many treatments, specially catered to your needs. We offer facials, manicures, pedicures, hair removal, massages, body treatments, and so much more. Enjoy our ultimate relaxation experience with our spa packages. We offer a men's menu as well. Call us today to book your next appointment at 514-695-5040 or visit us on the web at spamunari.com. That's 514-695-5040 or spamunari.com.
Join the therapist who is affectionately known as the Couple Whisperer, Sandra Reich, on her famous couple retreats, and change your life forever. Sandra offers couple retreats in beautiful locations several times a year that can radically change your love life. Couples describe her retreats as life-changing. Regain that loving feeling, bring your intimacy to a new level, and rediscover excitement and joy. Find out more at helpforanxietydepression.com or call 514-796-4357. We all want love and safety. Now you can have it. Call 514-796-4357 or helpforanxietydepression.com.
A fresh look at today's health. Voice America Health and Wellness.
You are listening to Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. To connect with the program today, please call 1-866-472-5792. Again, that's 1-866-472-5792. You may also send an email to info@helpforanxietydepression.com. Now, back to Straight Talk. Here's Sandra Reich.
So we're back. We're having a great discussion about the couple retreat that happened last November in Mexico. And just so people know, we are doing that same retreat again in May in the mountainous areas outside of Montreal in Mont-Tremblant. If you want more information about that, it is on the website, which is helpforanxietydepression.com. Or you can go on our Facebook, which is Sandra Reich Couple Retreats. These guys are going to come back to Mexico in November 2016, and we're going to continue on the journey, but it is open to anyone. This first retreat was a lot about understanding how we draw into our life our partners. Now, we've got Tracy on the phone, and she's got limited battery left on her phone. So I wanted to ask you, Tracy, what surprised you about the retreat? Here, you've been to therapy, you've been to women's events, you come with your partner. First of all, you had to have loved that your partner wanted to do this.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah, definitely.
Were there any surprises other than the proposal?
Yeah, the proposal was definitely a huge surprise, a wonderful surprise. I think, some of the things I learned at this retreat where it was knocked me off my feet a little bit and were the big surprise. The biggest one, I think, which is so obvious, is that we're all different. I think in all of my past relationships and in my relationship with Sylvain, I struggle because I want it my way, and my way is the right way.
Of course it is.
Why don't they get it? And why are they struggling? Like, I know better.
Yes.
And I would always be so confused. What's their problem?
Yeah.
And it was this retreat that you just boiled it right down to, we're all different. We all have the right to be different, and not one, my way isn't right over his way. His right is right for him. My way is right for me. And we need to find the win-win between us. And honestly, now it feels so obvious, but I was floored by that notion. Wait a second, we're different?
Yeah.
No, but I think we want the world to work the way we understand it to work. And so for most of my life, 38 years, that's the way it was until you told me that is not the way the world is. So I think that's really
it is for you.
Our
it
relationship.
Is for you.
It is for me, but I'm not in a relationship just with myself.
Right. Well done. Well done that you're even saying that. So well done, too. That was definitely a wake-up call for you. And for many of the couples to realize that our partners, we try to make our partners be like us, and we fail miserably because they're not us. And our partners will rebel against that. They'll dig their heels.
As they should, too. I mean, it's not about changing to what the other person wants us to be. It's about being who we are.
Okay. So, a typical day there when you were on this retreat, maybe you could describe, both of you, what that was like. I've got Sylvain here, and what it was like for you, because you weren't with me all the time. So you'd start with Robert, you'd do some yoga, I believe. And I think you were doing the personal training aspect.
Yes, I was going to the gym before yoga.
Okay. They really took advantage of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the day like, Trace?
Sylvain and I are both not morning people. So it definitely, it was a little tough to be on a rigorous sort of morning schedule even while on vacation. Even in my regular life, I don't have a rigorous morning schedule. So, but it was fun. It was something we tackled together, and it was up, breakfast, and then it was the activities. So one day, Sylvain and I both did the yoga, and Sylvain did the personal training in the gym 2 separate times. I think those times I did opt to stay in bed.
Yeah, they are optional, those activities.
Right.
Yes, exactly. And you always say, do what feels right for you. And staying in bed felt right for me on those days. And then we were in session. I think our sessions were 3 hours at a time, and then we had a break for lunch, and then we were back in session, and then we had the evenings to ourselves.
What did you guys do in the evenings?
I think we relaxed a whole lot. Sylvain, you gave us homework too, so
Yes.
we definitely did the homework.
Yeah,
We
that
had
was one of the
dinner.
things.
We got dressed up. We had dinner. The couples on the retreat. The resort is cozy. It's nice and small, so we're running into each other all the time. So we definitely hung out with some of the other couples.
We had the dance lessons too, which was great. And I think like Tracy mentioned, I know for us, sometimes we did that in the evening. We took, time, even though we were in an all-inclusive resort, we took time just to be together, Tracy and I, just to go through or debrief on, but that's our own personality, but we decided to debrief on the day and what was the high point and what was the thing we struggled the most and stuff like that. Again, we were very, we were all in. We wanted this to be very, not just meaningful, but as useful as it can be. So we took that time to do that, and and basically, went to bed not that late because the next day I wanted to hit the gym early and stuff like that. So,
And you did your homework, and I would walk around and see you guys doing your homework.
Yes.
And it was amazing because the homework is something to bring the couple closer and to get to know each other better.
definitely, and I actually even if we felt not only compelled to do that because there was momentum, using a hockey term, but we really wanted to we went through things during the day, and we felt we needed to start fresh the next day, to go over all of these things and again debrief and figure out, okay, so what happened today and where are we going and stuff like that. So it was very they were full days.
Oh, definitely. So, devil's advocate, I know your phone's going to go soon, and we're going to talk with James and Angie soon. And I'm sure they're going to talk about, they have their own personality types and different experience. Devil's advocate, curious, you guys got engaged. You had a great retreat. Why come back again? Devil's advocate could argue you're doing great. You guys are doing great. Why would you consider coming back to another couple retreat? I'd like to hear from both of you.
Well, I think I know I don't know what I don't know. Meaning basically that, we had a great retreat, and we got engaged, and we're going to get married soon, this year before the next retreat. But that doesn't mean we don't have anything to learn. That doesn't mean we can't continue to grow. That doesn't mean that we can't continue to evolve. And there's other stuff. Again, we've seen from just a couple of days the impact it has on our overall life. Again, with my son, with Tracy and my family and stuff like that. But so, I'm counting on the next one actually to get more tools to dig a bit deeper. And there's no way you can in just a couple of days go through everything in terms of relationship with everybody around you and even your partner. So we're really looking forward to the next one. Not that we're struggling, we're having issues, but it's just, again, we want to learn more tools. We're very committed that this is our last relationship.
Amazing. Tracy, your thoughts before we let you get back to what you need to get back to? Oh, I think Tracy's phone died. Well, we lost Tracy, but I think, Sylvain, you said it really well. I'll ask you before I move on to James and Angie, in a sentence or two, you said that this had an impact on your relationship with your child, and that right away got my attention. I'm curious, how on earth did a couple retreat affect your relationship with your child?
It's interesting. Being in a couples retreat and having to discuss and going through different things with Tracy, allow me to understand basically some of the behaviors I was having with my son in terms of, not necessarily patience, but there was that, but also, we talked a lot about wounds or stuff that we lived when we were younger. And basically that, what I realized, influences how I was actually parenting my son, and understanding that, my son's wound, he doesn't have the same wound as I have. So then therefore he is a different person too. So the approach, the way of teaching, the way, and also sometimes in the the way the life is very hectic, like we're pushing, not pushing physically kids, but I mean, we're life is going very fast. We're trying to say to our kids, go, go, go. But learning to listen to my partner, learning to understanding her emotional state gave me these same tools to do this with my son.
Amazing.
So when he's having a tough day, when there's something wrong with him, I'm actually using the same technique that we've learned, to when we're having a conversation with our partner, with my own son, and trying to figure out, okay, what's his emotion? And it's a bit tougher with kids because they don't have necessarily the whole vocabulary to explain, how they're feeling and stuff like that. So it needs a bit more thing, but the whole process or the tools can be applied.
Has he noticed?
Well, I don't think he has expressed it, in a way that, oh, Daddy, I'm seeing that you're being different. But just in a way he's behaving with me. Like, again, mornings are not challenging anymore with him.
It's amazing.
Like, we're ready to go to school and I have to go to work and everything's fine. Everything is calmer in the house because of that. So, it seems that it's concentrate on couples, but it actually affects your overall relationship with everybody around you.
Yeah, that's an important point. Thank you so much for that. So, Sylvain, we'll give you a little pause.
Sure.
I'd like to speak to James and Angie now, if you can come over here. They have to get close to the mic. I thought it would be interesting to get a little bit of a different perspective. Sylvain, Tracy, they talked about the therapeutic experience that we're going to need you to, so we're going to need her. So, talked about the therapeutic experience. So, it sounds like they were very keen for what they signed up for. They're very into this. Tracy talked about going to retreats. I think it was a little bit different for you, James. I think that I knew Tracy quite well. I didn't know you. So I'm very curious, seeing as you signed up for something that you didn't know me and you probably had no idea what you were getting in for. I think that your personality style is a little bit, we joke a lot, but apart from the joking, a little bit more reserved. How did you feel about this retreat and how did you feel going to it? And you guys as a couple, before I let you answer, you had a very big transformation on the retreat. So first, if we can find out what how you felt about signing up and what, were you nervous about it? Like, were you feeling like this is going to be a little embarrassing or how did you feel? I don't even know the answer.
Well, first of all, when we signed up, it was my wife who signed us up. Me and Angie were going through a very tough period. And it was, let's say, dark. And we needed help. And Angie suggested the retreat. I knew nothing about it, but she had heard about it. And I think she went to a session that you had spoken and heard about the retreat, came back to see me and said, I think it would be a very good thing for us to go to. I agreed because I believe in our relationship and I really wanted it to work. And I know that what we were doing wasn't working.
Mm-hmm. What were you doing?
Well, what were we doing? We were doing a lot of fighting.
Okay.
We were not communicating. We were not understanding each other. We were not seeing where the other was coming from. And this is a lot what the retreat brought to us. It brought an awareness, mostly on our partner, our wife or husband, and where a lot of their pain comes from. And I think that's very important because we all have pain. And that pain dictates a lot of how we react to each other. And one of the things you said that always struck me is that most relationships, you wind up marrying and picking the person that is going to bring out that pain in you.
Yeah.
Because you got to relive certain issues or traumas that you had when you were younger, and you're trying to deal with them in this new relationship. And when you said that, I thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
But can I say that? No.
Yeah, you can.
And as we went through and talking about the retreat, it was very interesting, the transformation that not just happened within us, but within everybody, is you first get to the retreat and you're all strangers and you're all more on guard. But as people, and I think that, and I'll give this to Sylvain and Tracy, they were the most open and they really set the mood of, they shared and gave everyone the courage to be able to also share. So what the retreat does, which is very different than, one-on-one or couples counseling, is that you get strength from the others, hearing their stories and hearing their pain and them being ready to open about that gives you the courage to do it within yourself and saying, wow, I'm not the only one that's screwed up. Other people are, and you don't feel that inhibited anymore about talking about your issues and what's wrong with your relationship and yourself.
Yeah, I think I would say that it's less about what's up with you and more about the fact that people do have challenges in relationship, and we're living in an era of the Facebook phenomena where we put our pictures where we're so happy and we're not supposed to be having any problems. And I wonder when you guys walked into that room and see other couples, that's when you just said it just hit me. It must be very difficult because you're strangers when you come and you're sitting in a room together like, oh God, who are these people? Like, and what's going to be? And it was really pretty amazing. What happened is that exactly what you said is people found a lot of solidarity in terms of realizing that, there were all different situations, but the common theme of wanting to love and be loved. That was a big thing. So you got there, you started the retreat, and, you guys, we're going to get you in here, Angie, too. If I could say, when you guys first started, I think it's something that we all observed. The connection at that time was not great between you guys. Mm-hmm. You were having a hard time looking at each other. Angie, you were having a hard time looking at James in particular. Is that about right?
Yes.
Okay, so you start a retreat. So you too. I mean, you're keen on the retreats. You're keen on the retreat.
I've been looking for a retreat like this for the past, I was looking for the past, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years, because I knew things were not going well in our relationship. And I wanted to make things better because I also believed in our relationship. But we had gotten to a point where there was just nothing. It was just dark. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. And I said, something's got to give. And an angel came by and said, listen, there's a seminar on relationships. Why don't you come with me? And I went with her. And this is when I met you. And this is what brought us to the couples retreat. And this couples retreat was just my blessing.
Angie, I think that you're a representative of a lot of people, though, who might find it hard. There was a point at the retreat where you came to me and you said, Sandra, I'm struggling. You weren't finding, it wasn't going magical for you at that point. What was going on and what changed it?
I was not able to, really be honest with myself. And what was really blocking me or allowing me to love myself, because if you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? And I think on that retreat, seeing everybody struggling with this love is something that made me realize that I have to be real with.
So after that moment that you were struggling, it seemed to me that something happened, because the next thing I know, you guys were looking each other in the eye. What was the turning point? Either one of you can answer. What was the turning point for you? What happened? Because we don't even know. Robert, do you know? I don't know. I just know that all of a sudden, when you weren't looking, you were looking. And I've seen you guys since then, and the couple has completely changed. So what was that? What happened? Is it being honest with yourself, Angie? Is it that? Is it something James said?
It's everything, the exercises that we were doing, having no interruptions, outside interruptions.
No kids.
No kids, no family, no, it was just you in your bubble, in dealing with this. It was like a crash, not a crash kind of course, but almost. It's like, instead of that once a week kind of therapy thing, it's like a full week therapy, one day after another. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and you have no choice. At the end of the week, you need to see the result. And that for me was important. I needed to see something. And what broke for me, I think, was when we finally were able to speak to each other, me and James, about what hurt us as child in our past, with our families, the hurts that we were living and that we were bringing out in each other. I think that was the breaking point.
Well said, Angie. I want to hear all about your reaction to that, James, when we come back. This is Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. We'll be right back.
Your life, your health, your network. You're listening to Voice America Health and Wellness.
Join the therapist who is affectionately known as the Couple Whisperer, Sandra Reich, on her famous couple retreats and change your life forever. Sandra offers couple retreats in beautiful locations several times a year that can radically change your love life. Couples describe her retreats as life-changing. Regain that loving feeling, bring your intimacy to a new level, and rediscover excitement and joy. Find out more at helpforanxietydepression.com or call 514-796-4357. We all want love and safety. Now you can have it. Call 514-796-4357 or helpforanxietydepression.com.
Change your life forever with the latest cutting-edge products for home study treatment for anxiety, featuring the clinical director of the Montreal Center for Anxiety and Depression and host of Straight Talk, Sandra Reich. Sandra is joined by top therapist Georgia Dow in this revolutionary anxiety videos therapy series. Thousands of people have benefited from this scientifically proven treatment approach. Isn't it time you chose yourself? Visit anxiety-videos.com right now. That's anxiety-videos.com and change your life forever.
Your life, your health, your network. This is Voice America Health and Wellness.
You are listening to Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. To connect with the program today, please call 1-866-472-5792. Again, that's 1-866-472-5792. You may also send an email to info@helpforanxietydepression.com. Now, back to Straight Talk. Here's Sandra Reich.
Welcome back to Straight Talk. Wow, even on the commercial breaks, we're having an amazing talk here. And it's almost like bigger than the couple retreats. It's to talk about, like, I've been doing so many shows since doing Straight Talk with Sandra Reich with experts on where our society is really, falling apart. And, we had Dr. Sue Johnson on. That show is airing, I think, next week, about the lack of connection. Men, we've talked about men having a hard time connecting with others and how men really do need, like Sylvain said, he was jealous of Tracy going to the women's retreats. So we're going to talk about that that connection that happens, something we talked about in the commercial break. And also James brought up a very important point about something that happens at the retreats that really is significant. But before that, James, we just heard your wife, Angie, talk about a moment where she went from not being able to look at you to share her pain and connect with you. I mean, I saw it, but what was that like for you?
It was amazing. I mean, it was like the transformation in us was night and day. We went in there barely talking, barely looking at each other, barely liking each other, and we left there back in love. And I mean...
Oh, you have to say that again. You left there back in love?
We left there back in love.
Oh, my God.
So
I'm liking this.
And it really is because you're sitting there, and as I was saying, because you're away, and you're away from all the pressures and the distractions of the world, all you're doing is concentrating on each other. And one, you are discovering amazing things about your partner that you never knew, and where they're coming from, and why they react certain ways to things you do that you have no clue that you're doing. And then that brings you to you, and you have these realizations about yourself and what you're doing in the relationship that you had no clue. But the most important is where it's coming from. So, to be able to understand that, okay, I'm reacting this way, but it has nothing to do with my wife. It has to do with something else in my life, and I'm kind of overreacting. And knowing that, you all of a sudden realize, saying, wait a second, I got to take a step back, and it's not my wife or my partner that is provoking this. It's something else deeper inside me, and it just makes it easier because now you realize, okay, it's not the situation that's causing me this anger or this frustration. It's coming from another place. It just kind of triggered me. And then it just, for me, understanding a lot of what was triggering Angie, and I realized, well, I'm triggering it, but a lot of the anger wasn't coming from me. It was coming from a lot of other stuff. But I had to learn that those were the triggers and try not to do those triggers.
I think it's such a big thing you're saying, because understanding and taking that time for yourself when we have kids is very difficult. That's the other issue here. And I think that that's another one of the confusions out there, is that we sort of become sacrificial a little bit when we have kids. Is that, my kids don't like when I go away. I get a long litany of complaints. And my husband and I very recently, we went away with the kids, came back and left on a trip. This is maybe 2 weeks ago, alone. And you realize that in relationships, it is so important to have that time. And we adore our kids. We have good kids. But there are so many things that you can't, you're like, be careful, do this, do that. You can't really be connecting with your partner. So just to stop and take some time to, take care of the garden, if you will. Every summer we have to take care of our gardens. We have to put seeds in. I think that's what the couple retreats are. I think that was always my goal, is to come back and, tend the garden. And I've told you guys, my husband and I, even as the teacher, we go to courses also. We love stuff like that. We go to learning centers. It's such a powerful thing. So I think you guys did really.
It's like the miracle grow that you keep adding to your. Well, this is what it is.
Great
These
analogy.
retreats are like little nutrients that our couple retreat or our couples need to make the relationship work. It's little vitamins for us.
Yeah. So what would you say, Angie, to people who feel like, no, this is not for me, and I don't want to spend the money on this, and why is this important? I don't want to air my dirty laundry. What would you say?
It's not about airing your dirty laundry. It's about embellishing your relationship.
Oh, well said. Well said. You shared with me on the break that there was something that happened. It was so nice on the break, I should say before you answer this. Such a nice group, because on the break, the men were thanking each other. James was thanking Sylvain or Sylvain was thanking James for the comment James said about Sylvain. And then Angie, you said something that James had said to you about Sylvain making it safe. I don't know exactly. Do you remember the words you used?
I don't remember exactly the words, but I know that hearing Sylvain and Tracy sharing their stories, James seemed to have had a connection, and I kind of feel that he was able to open up and made him feel that he was okay to share his story. With other men there. Not so much, it's just to share his story so that he can encourage other people, the relationship with me, and feel strong about it. Like, I find Sylvain gave him the courage to do this.
Sylvain, what do you say to that? That must be quite something for you to hear.
Yes. Well, again, like I said, James, to James, like, I really appreciate that comment. Again, it's Tracy and I, we have that thing of what we want to get, as much as we can out of this. So it was like natural for us. And, Tracy has been seeing you for a while, and, I come to the center too. And it was just natural for us to do this. But it was, there was a moment where there was chemistry created between all of the couples. And actually, that's why I felt comfortable basically to proposing to Tracy in front of all of the couples. Right. I used that. It wasn't done like, when nobody was there. Like, I asked permission for everybody to give me a little bit of time. And, I proposed to Tracy in front of everybody, but after thanking everyone at that retreat for their participation in helping us, Tracy and I as a couple, to become better and participating in our own growth. So I wanted to share that moment with them. So that's why I did that. So.
Amazing.
Can I just say something?
Of course.
Has to do with what Sylvain was just talking about. What would happen in the retreat is when somebody would reveal something very painful, very deep, very personal, afterwards you would see other people coming up and saying, thank you so much for doing that. You've given me the courage to talk about something of mine. And that happened over and over and over again. So this retreat, what made it so fantastic and successful was that, first of all, Sandra, you were amazing at it.
Thank you.
But it's everyone else who participated, shared, opened, and gave courage to everyone else. And we were thanking each other. And like I said, we went in there, 10 couples, 20 strangers, and we came out friends. And we actually, Sylvain said it, but I'll say we all signed up to go back. That's how powerful it was.
Because we love Robert's yoga.
We're getting to Roberts. He's coming on soon. So I was just about to ask you if you guys are coming back. And I guess one thing I want to ask you guys before I bring Robert over and he gets a little chance to take us out of the show towards the end is that, my fear always, putting something like this together, and when I go to something is they call it with due respect to Tony Robbins, the Tony Robbins effect, that you get raw, you come home, you're good for 3 or 4 days, and then you slip right back into your old patterns. I wanted to make something very experiential, so you came home with exercises to practice. So I'm asking if you guys, you guys are saying you're coming back to a retreat, you want to keep on the journey, great. You want to miracle grow your garden. Were you able to maintain the raw? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Why?
Routine, I guess. We decided it was going to be a routine, and we scheduled it in our monthly, daily, weekly appointments, whatever it was. And we made a point to always appreciate, like say an appreciation, or it's just a reminder of how much that person means to us during that day, for no matter what it is that they did to brighten ourselves. And I find by doing that, it really changes the whole ambiance of everybody around you, the children, the family, the friends, and you. It just brings everything together.
Right. It's, in the beginning after, of course, you have to make the conscious decision of doing the exercise. And the first one that we learned was the kind of the appreciation exercise, where we had to, 3 times a day, just say something to our partner that we appreciate about them. And there was like a little formula that we needed to use. And of course, coming back, like we had to make the conscious decision, but just within a few weeks, that becomes automatic. And for all the listeners, can you imagine having your partner every day, 3 times a day, telling you that they appreciate something about you? That's amazing. And that relieves a lot of the tension, a lot of the stress, and changes your like, even if you're having a bad day and your partner comes to you and says something that they appreciate about you, it just changes your mood, right away. Yeah.
For me, it was discovering and actually falling more in love with Angie because of the courage she had, and to open up and to reveal to me things that were like, they just touched me so much. And I realized how precious our relationship is. And I did not want, when I came back, you realize that you need to put work in your relationship. And if you don't, it starts to, degrade. But it doesn't need a huge amount of work, but it needs that work every day, that tending to it, like the garden analogy she did. Once you've, made your garden, planted everything, worked everything, if you leave it alone, it's going to die. But if you water it every day and you give that attention it needs, it'll keep on growing beautifully. And that's what I find the relationship is.
Beautiful. So I've got Robert over here. Everybody's spoken so beautifully. And Robert, as the manager, I'm wondering, you've been sitting here quietly. You're not known for sitting quietly. Okay. Everybody's laughing because he brought a lot of entertainment to our adventure, didn't he? Yeah. Anything you want to say? We have about 3 minutes left. So anything you want to bring up or talk about?
Well, my experience very quickly on the retreat was very special because I got to spend time with such special people. I honestly did. I personally was invested in their success right from the beginning. I wanted to see them grow as a couple and this foundation be stronger. So I was really, really impressed with this group of people, and listening to you all, I realized, wow, you guys are such special people, and I'm excited to be again with you next in November. Now, we do have a retreat coming up.
Are you coming to Tremblant for people
Am
listening?
I coming to Tremblant? Absolutely.
Yeah, you're coming. Yay.
Absolutely. I'm coming to Tremblant. And I just want
You're going to be doing yoga.
I'm going to be doing yoga and some guided meditation.
You have some questions?
Yes. So I wanted to know the exact date for the people who are listening when the Mont Tremblant retreat will be taking
May
place.
16th to the 19th. It's coming up.
Very, very soon.
Yeah.
Now, Mont Tremblant is very different than
Mexico.
Definitely a different atmosphere. Definitely a different feel. I'm just curious for you, why did you choose Mont Tremblant?
Well, for many reasons. Definitely want to offer it locally. It's a beautiful area also, Mont Tremblant. So both places have to be a place where people can, like they said, take the time to walk and spend some time together. And I think for people who haven't been to this, a lot of Americans listening to the show, Mont Tremblant is a pretty nice place to come visit, especially in May. We're going to have a great time, and I'm happy you're coming back. You'll be a big part of it.
Yeah. And Sandra, just one question to you. I put you on the hot seat in one of the episodes, but now to put you maybe on the cool seat, how does it feel to know all the amazing work and impact you had on these people?
Robert, that's such a great question. Good one. Because it's beyond anything I could have ever dreamt of. And I want to say live on the radio, we have about 15 seconds left, how much you all mean to me. And what a gift you've given me. What a gift you've given me. It was an honor to be there with you. And it was very intimate, and such a great question, Robert. And there's nothing that means more to me than this. And to hear these stories, they're stories I'll have for the rest of my life. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank you, Robert, for being on Straight Talk. If you have questions about retreats, you can always call us at 514-777-4530 or the website helpforanxietydepression.com. Angie, thank you. James, thank you. Sylvain, thank you. Robert, thank you.
Sandra,
Tracy, thank you so much. Very important, our Tracy. This is Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. Keep your eyes on the stars and put some miracle grow in your garden. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to Straight Talk with Sandra Reich. We hope you've enjoyed today's show, and we'll tune in again next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel. Now, go live your best life.